Yo, sup cadre? Happened to have the day off of work. Had an interesting experience this weekend I was going to share with you today using this beautiful Chisel and Hound. Where's the Hound? He's back here somewhere. Chisel and Hound brush with, what do they call it when the split it? Split ends is when it's in your hair. They call it something else when the tips of the badger hair start to split off and it gets super soft, and that's how this is. I don't know much about the brush. I just bought it in a buy-sell trade and just because of the looks of it, and it's one of the best feeling brushes I've got. One of those I should use it more things. Also, where's my soap? Where's my soap? I mean, it's in the bowl, but where did put the other thing on top of it. Sheermonk Soek. You know, you love it. You probably never heard of it. Good stuff. This is kind of a nice, actually kind of a cold winter scent. Nice, rich, warm, kitchen spicy kind of a thing. Yeah, yesterday was cool. Had that, I hope you guys saw it, interview with Major Rich. Thank you for your time, good sir. Followed by a Zoomy call with the Cadre boys. That was cool. Always good. But what I wanted to talk about is, long story short, circumstances make it that we've got two kids going to two different schools next year. Only so many cars. My wife is back in the office pretty much full time. And so we needed other transportation options. We live close enough to the high school where it would be no big deal. Yeah, I know, I'm gonna hear it. Back in my day, it wouldn't even be in a thought. Walk, take your bike, it was those times where now it's like you get your driver's license, that's your freedom, right? That's when you get to go do your stuff. With us, and probably most of the rest of the freaking country, not so much around here. Once you get your bike, that's your freedom. You were just gone, right? No phones, no nothing. Be back before dark. Oh, those were the days. Always had scabs and scrapes and bruises and so the realities of this moment are we live close, but kind of a long, big hill, pretty steep streets to get to from where the school is up to where we are. So I know it would not be successful just to say, here's a bike, ride it halfway back and then push it up the other half. So I've been looking at electric bikes for my daughter. First of all, yeah, price shocker. Anybody that's got one or looked at them, like, holy cow. I mentioned that to Major Rich yesterday. This is where I grabbed myself. There might be blood. I don't think I went deep enough this time, but I got it. Oh yeah, there's a little something there. Just showing you what I was talking about. Showing you. Of course, the sellers of these things make a point that you should not be comparing them to other bicycles. You compare them to cars because they sell them for commuting and carrying things, an alternative to using a car. If you just happen not to have a car, it's easier. You're close enough to avoid traffic and gas prices and such, what have you. In that vein, yeah, true. Well, maybe true. I mean, you could get, for the price of some of these things, you could get a used car. Not a great one, but you could. But yes, I get it. Upkeep, gas, all that stuff. So anyway, they say, what they were saying is that people get shocked at the price of an electric bike because you don't finance a bike. You buy a car for transportation. Yeah, they're super expensive, but you finance it, so it's only so much. Anyway, that's what they say. So get over that, and then also the battery cost. And in reality, if you're getting a good bike, right, you're not getting one that's $100. If you want one that's, again, not going to be the heaviest thing, going to be safe, going to be reliable, it's multiple hundreds of dollars. Yes, and I know that they can go astronomical, but I'm just talking like a commuter bike. And then the electric part of it, right? Like the batteries, like just like an electric car, once your battery goes out, that's a huge percentage of the cost of the car. And same with an electric bike. The one, oh, spoiler alert, the one we got, the replacement battery is like $600. So you subtract $600 from the price of the bike, and then look at everything else in it. Anyway, so I narrowed down to 3 brands in all my research. One of the most important things being the power that they have within a price range, right? You can pay more and like have basically like a motorcycle. We're not doing that. So within a price range, what has potentially enough power to at least help her up the hill. So I mean, seriously, you see people most of the time they don't take their bikes up there, but you almost never see anybody riding a bike up that hill. If you do, it's like some in shape person up on the handlebars puffing for all they're worth in first gear, that kind of a thing, just to inch up the hill. So hoping at least there's something that she can, like, with moderate effort, at least make it up the hill. That was the goal. So narrowed it down to 3 brands. Showed her the 3. Surprisingly to me, the one she picked, to me was kind of the ugliest one, because the battery isn't totally integrated into the frame. It's kind of like stuck on the outside. I mean, it's obvious where it is. Because a lot of them, they just have, the frame is super thick so that it kind of shrouds the battery. But she picked it because it's more sitting upright versus leaning over. So cool. I didn't even think she would care about that. But the good part, so I was actually happy because this one actually, out of the 3, is most likely to have more power to help her up the hill. But then extra benefit is they have a local shop, other side of the bay in Berkeley. So shout out to Rad Power Cycle. So the only thing is their name, I mean, obviously they must be doing good business, but it's just using the word rad makes me feel like they're not so, like, I don't know. It's a little too casual for a business for me. But anyhow, so because it was with, reasonably close, I'm like, hey, and that's the problem with a lot of these electric bike companies, don't have shops anywhere. You just have to buy them based on whatever and hope they kind of fit your body and are what you want and stuff. And that's kind of tough, especially for the prices of these things, right? I mean, yeah, you could, in theory, return them, but you should see. So one of these I was almost hoping she got, because it was like a Lego kit, right? They said it was like the most assembly ever needed. I'm like, that sounds like fun. But if you had to take that back apart to repackage it somehow to send it back, you couldn't. So anyway, but looking at their website, they seem like a bunch of cool guys. Of course, they're rad, right? So you can go on there to schedule test rides, but if you just want a short ride, they say just drop in. You don't need an appointment. They have, I don't know what it involves, a longer 1-hour ride that I think you had to make an appointment for. But then they seem like super involved people, because also on their website they talk about that they collect canned foods for some charity. I think they do something for the Humane Society. They were starting up a weekend bike wash at their place. So obviously community people, which is cool. So we went there. My plan, I had no idea where the shop was. Ended up being on a kind of busy street. And, of course, we don't know that area at all. And so when I said she wanted to test ride one, she wanted to test ride the one that she picked out. And you have to do a waiver and stuff. And they asked me, do I want to do one? I'm like, I kind of originally, I think I just would have said no. Like my big butt hasn't been on a bike forever. And every now and again, I've thought about like sometimes we're at places where you can do an excursion where it's like a bike tour and stuff. I'm like, I would just think after 10 minutes, my butt would be hurting and this. But I was a little bit concerned about the area we were in and kind of her safety and stuff. So I said, sure. So I signed up for it. They get her out the bike that she was looking at, give me one that's basically the same version except with the fat tires, which I don't know if that's a commentary, but she didn't want the fat tires, which is good because for commuting, the fat tires are more rolling resistant, uses up your battery faster, all that. Super helpful though. They get you on just the seat height, the handlebars, explain how it works, all this stuff, and then just say, here, go down here, watch this street. You can go several blocks any direction here, and let you go. And holy cow! Like I said, so I get past that. She had a rough time at the beginning, and I don't know if we'll have time to get into that. Not because of the bike. Just because of it's been a long time being on a bike and they're pretty heavy, these things. But once we got kind of into residential area and I could, look, I'm talking too long and my lather, it's like, hey, we're not an infinite lather here. The ones we're looking at do either pedal assist, which means what it sounds like as you're pedaling, the motor adds to the power, so you don't have to push as hard. Or there's a throttle. I think they call it a throttle, but there's the handlebar and then you move your hand in and there's a little throttle. That's just what it sounds like. It's like you don't pedal. And so they explained, that especially even just on flat ground, because they're heavier and people want to take advantage of what they own, even if you're going to be pedaling it as a normal bike from a dead stop, a lot of people use the throttle. They stop, they get a little going and then just start pedaling. And I was shocked. Again, even my big butt, and the thing just took off. And that was a thrill. I was like, what? This is so much fun. So, for a while, while I was kind of watching her and coaching her, I was only using the throttle to scoot around on that thing. And then I was like, well, I want to know what this is about. So the pedal assist has like 0 and then 5 levels. You can have it off or, so I put it like on 2. And sure enough, you pedal and you get like a couple revolutions and then the motor kicks in and then it's like kind of almost like you're pedaling downhill where you put almost no pressure on the cranks and you're just kind of going, right? Just like, and it's, I think I either read it or they said it somewhere, like the feeling of like when you're on the moving sidewalk. Maybe Barbara Day told me. So somebody said like when you're on the moving sidewalk at the airport, right? You're putting in X amount of work that you're used to, but you're going much faster than you. So it's fun, right? Like everybody loves those things at the airport, right? You got to stroll on it and you're just watching yourself whiz past the windows and stuff. So yeah, we didn't go very far, but I had a blast. And then, so I wanted to see what it's about, so I turned it up to 5. We were just on, we were riding like a block at a time and stopping and stuff, but that was more than assist. I get like a half a crank and then the bike just like shoots off. It's like, oh, you want to go, we're going. And there's a bit of a learning curve. It's not very big though, because there's a delay to it. Like I said, you got to get going. I think they call it resistance cadence sensor. I think I'm going to get into the weeds, but there's a delay. You go you got to turn it a little bit, and then the motor kicks in, and then after you stop pedaling, it'll go for a while before it kicks back off. So you got to learn that, because if you're ready to stop, or slow down, and you're on 5, it's gonna keep giving you a little kick in the butt there for a little while. But towards the end, when I'm just tootling around on level 2 on flat ground, like I'm like, I could bike all day on this thing. Which then brings up the point for us, the battery size and how long the range was not an issue, right? Because I'm thinking it's either to school and back, or we've got a town with a nice little downtown street that kids like to hang out on. It's distance-wise, I don't know, got to only be a couple of miles, right? So I don't see that should be going any further than that. But if you're wanting to take your bike out and then, like I just said, like want to spend the day out just on paths and stuff like that, I could see why range could become an issue, because I'm sure that my butt didn't get sore, but again, we were stopping off and on, that kind of thing. So I think the ergonomics of the thing was great. Front fork suspension. What are they going to say? Yeah, so I could see, maybe after your booty is used to being in the saddle for a while, you could easily have the energy to spend all day in the thing, and then range might be an issue for you. You can, again, not for an inexpensive price, get a second battery. Other I don't know if it's these guys, but at least one of the companies has that on their website, like a deal on a second battery when you buy the bike at the same time. So if you wanted to be out and about, I don't think you'd want to carry it with you. It's pretty heavy, but I guess you could. They've got all sorts of racks and stuff for carrying things you can buy, and but you could double your range with a second battery. So anyway, shout out to the people there. We dealt with several of them. This is our first time looking at electric bikes. And they were all very cool, very helpful. I don't know if we took up more of their time than they're used to. I'd imagine a lot of folks that are new to this, it's not sure I wasn't asking anything that nobody else had. So there we go. That was our adventure. So now the next, I'll wait a bit. I've been spending a little too much money. But I did float the idea past my wife, but not in the immediate future. But I thought that would be, again, I didn't see myself hopping on a bike and going anywhere, that it would just be a physical struggle and not fun at all. But I'm like, that's pretty fun. I mean, and who knows? Well, it could go either way, right? We could either buy the things and go out twice, and then they just sit like everything else, or it could be the path to better fitness, because you can say, all right, let me turn down the assist a little bit, get a little bit of easy workout in, and then crank it up just to have fun. And kind of like getting back to the gym, right? Like where you don't want to go there because it's like, I'm gonna lift like the minimal weight, right? Or I can't even get to running on the treadmill, go to the gym and just walk along, and what fun is that? So same kind of thing, right? That you think, well, geez, if I buy a bike, within 15 minutes, I'm going to be exhausted. So what fun is that? So you get one of these, you do your 15 minutes of kind of just warming your body up, and then crank it up, and then watch the scenery. Anyway, I was impressed. Pretty cool. Got it built over the weekend. Have one little thing we need to talk with them about. But all the parts that we need to actually use the bike we're good. Battery's charged up, so I'm gonna because we live right, our house. There's hills like uphill both ways. Seriously is to get out of our neighborhood. So I'm gonna throw it in the back of the car and we'll take it out somewhere for her to practice a little bit and get more comfortable and all that. Then maybe I can get my wife on it, see what she thinks. Anyway, we're not done. We're not done even a little bit because whoopah, this moment of Bob brought to you by Braid Barbershop, the sweetest smelling barbershop in Tucson. Man, I've thought of this. I gotta warn people. Obviously, all of my interviews, both of them, have been cadre folks. But I don't know that I want to limit myself to that. I might reach out to other shaving folk for my shave interview thing, and they're not gonna get. I'll be like, hey, you know what time it is? Whoopah! They'll be like, what the heck are you doing? I'd have to warn them probably before the video that, hey, I got a sponsor that doesn't pay me anything, so he expects a lot. Anyway, there you go. I'm not wearing this shirt out. This is my shaving shirt, see, with the excess lather storage there and all that stuff. So I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna use this scent, the Marc Antoine B683, because again, here you can see yourself in the reflect. Isn't that cool? Again, this is kind of a warm baking spice type of thing, but I'll wait until I change into the shirt I'll be wearing out. So then it coats and it lasts, and everybody enjoys it. There you go. See you on the forums.